Ivy Lau says, can you make a video about using full stop, please? And it seems that this person is learning more British English. Full stop is what we would call a period in the United States. Kids always abuse comma in their writing, and there are so many run-on sentences. Okay, so more specifically, it looks like Ivy wants to know about using commas versus using periods or full stops. A full stop or a period is going to be used if we have an independent clause on one side and an independent clause on the other side. Basically, it needs to be a full sentence. What does that mean? Let's take a look. I'll give you some examples of this comma abuse, as we call it. We'll just start with the sentences. Robert is happy he ran a 10K. I've got two sentences here, and you'll see that I used a period to separate them because that's what we can do. Robert is our subject. Is happy is a full predicate. We've got the main verb is, and it's acting on the description happy here. So that's an independent clause. It works as a full sentence by itself. We have a second sentence. He ran a 10K. Again, we have the subject he, our main verb ran, and ran is acting on a 10K. It's what I ran. So we use a period because we have two independent clauses. Now this comma abuse, I think that Ivy might be referring to is when students do this. So instead of using a period, a student might use a comma. And of course, we'd have a lowercase h here because this is one sentence apparently, but Robert is happy, comma, he ran a 10K. This would be an example of one of those run-on sentences because we're not using proper punctuation. This error is known as a comma splice. When we use a comma the way that we're supposed to use a period, separating two independent clauses, we're not allowed to do that. What we could do if we wanted to use a comma is add a coordinating conjunction. You may have heard of the fanboys. The fanboys are the coordinating conjunctions. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Fanboys. And here it looks like I'm happy because I ran a 10K. So I could use the fanboy for. Robert is happy for he ran a 10K. Now we're allowed to use that comma because we have a coordinating conjunction connecting those two independent clauses. We could also use the word because, but you're gonna notice something. Robert is happy because he ran a 10K. There's no comma there. Why am I not using a comma? Because is not a fanboy. If it's not a coordinating conjunction, it is a subordinate conjunction, meaning that because he ran a 10K is actually now a dependent clause. And if we have an independent clause followed by a dependent clause, we don't need a comma. However, let's say we switched it around. Because he ran a 10K, Robert is happy. You'll notice that now the comma is back. If we start a sentence with a dependent clause and then end with an independent clause, that's when we use a comma with a complex sentence. A complex sentence being one that has both a dependent and independent clause. So there's a little bit of information for you about comma abuse, about using periods versus commas. There's a lot of comma rules and guidelines. For some of the most common uses, you could look at my video. It's a music video about comma usage called Girl Don't Forget That Comma. I'll try to remember and leave a link for you in the description after I finish the live stream.